The History of French Cuisine by group Jennifer Vega, Paula Cantu, and Anastasia Light. The background of French cuisine goes to the medieval times. Back then, they served dinner or meals in a manner that they called the service in confusion, meaning that the meals were served all at the same time. So it was just a lot of plates out on the table at once. They used a lot of spiced food and a lot of preserves or whatever was abundant at the time in season. So moving ahead to the 15th and 16th centuries, when Catherine de Medici married Henry d'Orleans, who became Henry II. She brought her Italian chefs or with her to France. And what they did was influence the French cuisine. So the Italians were way ahead of the industry in cuisine. So they were doing things that the French were not doing or hadn't heard of yet. So they were able to incorporate the Italian dishes and their new way of making dishes to the French cuisine. And that's really how the French even got to be known, or how they were able to elaborate their dishes and grow as far as their cuisine or the way that they make dishes. They owe a lot of that to the Italians during that time. Still then, during the 17th and 18th centuries, they were very conservative with their dishes. So they didn't do a lot of thinking outside of the box. They were making things very basic still. And it wasn't until the 18th century or the 19th, I'm sorry, and the mid 20th century that they were able to break out of that and start doing more with their cuisine and, trying to define their industry. So they played a lot with food, with their plating, and they were able to create this great cuisine. And now, it's very popular. We use it here in the States and everywhere. Everybody loves French cuisine, but they actually were one of the slowest rising of all culinary arts. Here you can see a menu from 1936, and I thought this was just really cool to add because it was showing you the different types of food they have. And this, again, is when they started to elaborate on their meals. And the meal that I'm going to be focusing on today is one of my favorites, escargot. Escargot is a meal or a appetizer that is snails, and the way that they make this is they get butter and herbs, and they bake the butter and herbs in the shell with the snail, and typically serve it like in a baguette, or you can just eat it out of the shell as well. But it's really delicate. It's very good. It's kind of chewy if you're not used to it. And we're going to be incorporating this into our group meal. And if you'd like to watch a video, I'm going to put it on the next slide. The way how to prepare escargot with Chef Ludo Lefebvre. Thank you.
Smorrebrod is a traditional Danish open-faced sandwich that usually consists of a piece of either buttered rye bread or a denser dark brown bread. It's usually topped with either cold cuts or some type of fish, with cheese, some sort of spread, maybe like a garlic or herb spread, and garnishes of your choosing. So you can either do like lime or lemon or something like that to add a little zest, or it can even provide a vehicle for leftovers, as they say, the way that pasta does for Italians and crepes do for some of the French. So if you've made too much of a meal the night before, then you can always throw it on top of the bread and either toast it a little or even just have it as it is. And so because the Danish are known for their simplicity and being among the most happy people on the planet, they're also recognized for their tolerant and down-to-earth attitude. It makes sense that this is something, or that this is a dish that's stapled in their country. The origin of the open-faced sandwich is actually European from the Middle Ages, and they would take thick slices of stale bread or trenchers, and those served as the plates, the pieces of bread. And so the trenchers absorb the juice flavor and the toppings, and it just kind of created a new dish for the whole society. So over time, the food was incorporated into the meal because the food-soaked plate was often the best component. So the bread is definitely the star of the show. It's something that absorbs all of the flavors and stuff from the leftovers and whatever spreads you may put on. So it's definitely a staple dish in the Danish community, and I'm really excited to try a recipe incorporating it.
Chinese fried rice is quite an excellent dish that has been introduced as a way to utilize leftover foodstuffs. It is said to be a dish that was originated in Sui Dynasty 589, being the native of Jiangsu City. This fried rice is often known as Jiangsu fried rice. South China is famous for making Chinese fried rice, as rice is the main grain in that part of the country. Chinese fried rice is also popular as a street food in most of the cuisines, including American. Many Chinese restaurants in America, UK, and India serve fried rice as a Chinese specialty. Rice is the star of the show. The key to making fried rice is using rice that has been previously cooked, reducing your chances of ending up with a dish that is wet and lumpy. Dry rice is fine, but rice that is 2 or 3 days old is the best. Rub the rice between your fingers to get rid of any clumps before cooking. Other ingredients include vegetables such as chopped beans, onions, peas are the main components. Among the meats, pork, chicken, and even beef are quite popular.
The dish that we chose to create in honor of our three countries is the escargot fried rice on Smorrebrod. So what that is, it's going to be the snails in a shell placed on top of fried rice, and that's going to be placed on a piece of rye. The ingredients you're going to need is snails in a shell, a half a cup butter, 1 clove of garlic, 4 slices of rye bread, 1/2 cup of onion, and that has to be chopped, a half a cup of carrots chopped, a half a cup of peas, 1 cup of rice, and it's best to use rice that's cooked over 2 to 3 days old. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. The way that you would cook this dish is to add butter and garlic, or to plate the snails on they have a specific baking dish. You're going to place the snails the whole side up, and you're going to add butter and garlic to the shell. You can place butter under the snail and over as well if you want to get it extra tender. They're going to bake that in an oven at 350 degrees for about 5 to 7 minutes. While you're doing that, you want to saute your vegetables in sesame oil. That's going to be your onion, carrots, and peas until the desired consistency that you like, however tender you like it. Then you're going to stir in your rice and then stir in your soy sauce. You're going to go ahead and once you're done with that, you're going to plate your rye bread and place some rice on top, and then your escargot. If you wanted to add a little bit of extra flavor, you can drizzle with butter. And that is our dish. I hope you enjoy, and we will add the videos for you to be able to see how to prepare each dish also in our Google slide document that'll be linked below. Thank you.